Hello everyone, I am Vaishnavi. My project is credit card fraud detection. I have prepared a PPT on decision trees. First, let me show you that. So, what basically is decision trees is it is a simple but powerful learning model. It is both used for classification and regression, but mostly it is used for classification. Let us see the definition of decision tree. A decision tree is a tree in which each node represents a choice between number of alternatives. Each leaf node represents a decision. So what basically decision tree is like, the branch node represents a choice, like what choice we are going to, and what leaf node represents what the answer we will get by that. But means the decision tree is going to predict what the answer will be. So this is the structure of decision tree. So as I said, root node will be the decision node, and subtrees will be leaf decision node subtrees, and leaf node will be the choice answer we will be getting. So the key terms in decision tree are root node, splitting, decision node, leaf node, pruning, and branching. These are the basic terms that we should have knowledge about before knowing decision tree. So let me show you how decision tree works. Like, first we have to collect the data, and data preparation should be done. Feature selection, like which attribute will be used for feature selection, which will get us definite accurate answers. Next, splitting, and we have to do the recursive splitting. And leaf node, we have to select the assignment for leaf node. So next, the prediction will be done. So the working of a decision tree. Here I have taken an example from a Google page. So what the problem statement is, from these group of animals, we have to classify categorically. Like, we have to put all giraffes together and all elephants and monkeys together. Here we are going to train the data set, and how we are going to do it is like, first we shall, as we can see, yellow is the bright color, and we can differentiate, no? So we'll take yellow, and next we are going to categorize. As you can see, color is equals to yellow. Then if color equals to yellow, we are going to categorize, and if not, we are going to categorize others. Now based on height, we are going to categorize. If height is greater than or equals to 10, we are going to categorize them into one category. If not, we are going to categorize those yellow animals into false. And from these other height is less than 10, we are going to categorize. Finally, we will get all the categories of animals like giraffe, tigers, monkeys, and elephants. So we can have the methodology like data collection, pre-processing, splitting the data, and this is the data flow diagram of decision tree. First, we are going to select the data set of credit card, and we are going to give it as an input. Now we are going to pre-process the data and data filling if there are any missing values, and we are going to split the data into test and train data. Now we are going to give that data to decision tree, and that is going to predict, by classifying it, it is going to predict if it is fraud or genuine. And the decision tree algorithms are as follows: ID3 cart, C4.5 random forest gradient boosting, light B, GBM. This is the presentation I have prepared on decision trees. Now let us go to the project we have done. Now I'm going to tell about credit card fraud detection. Let me introduce you to the credit card fraud detection. So what basically a credit card fraud detection is? Credit card fraud detection, it is identifying purchase attempts that are fraudulent and rejecting them rather than processing the order. Like, we are going to see if the transaction that has been done is a fraud, or that is a valid transaction. If it is a fraud, we are going to terminate it, like we are not going to process it, we are going to reject it. If not, we are going to uh, qualify it as a validate one. So our project objective is like predicting whether if it is the cardholders or the fraudsters using the credit cards through credit card profiling. So the process we followed in this project is the project statement, that is, we have to find out whether the transaction is fraud or not. Now data collection, that has been, we have taken the data set from Kaggle. The data set name is fraud.test.csv. We imported the libraries pandas, numpy, matplotlib, seaborn. The data pre-process has been like, we have used three algorithms, that is logistic regression, random forest, and decision trees. So let me explain briefly about random forest, decision trees, and logistic regression. Random forest, as the name suggests, it is random. It is a classifier that contains number of decision trees or various subsets that give data sets and take average to improve predict accuracy of the data. It can also be said like a group of decision trees are combined to form a random forest. Now decision trees. It is representation for getting all the possible solutions. Means decision based convey. If we want to get a solution based on decisions, we are going to perform decision tree. If basically decision tree asks a question, based on that question we are going to further split the tree. If, like based on yes or no, we are further going to split the tree till end of the tree where leaf node cannot be divided again. Then we can find the answer. Logistic regression, it is a popular machine learning algorithm and it is a supervised learning technique. This is also used for predicting categorical dependent variable. So, credit card fraud detection in machine learning relies on various factors and techniques to predict fraud in dataset. So, how we are going to predict the fraud in dataset using anomaly detection and historical data. Anomaly detection, like where if for example, if a person is there and he does only 3 transactions, credit card transactions per in a month, and next month if he have done 10 transactions, then this situation will be conducted will be detected as something fraud. We are going to check whether the same person has used the credit card 3 times and the same person used 10 times. If not, then that is going to consider as a fraud. Now in our data set, the columns that are helpful to find a fraud are transaction amount, like how much amount has been transaction, and transaction date and time, transaction type, whether it is online or offline, location at which a particular location the transaction has been done, and extra like credit card information, holders information. This is a basic diagram of a credit card detection process, fraud detection process. So it is first the terminal is going to check the entered PIN is correct or there is sufficient balance or blocked card. If yes, that is going to be valid transaction. If not, it is going to reject it. If it is going to be a valid transaction, further it is going to check the fraud score. If the fraud score is less, then that is going to be investigated, and if the fraud score is okay, like it is good, then the credit card transaction will be valid. So let me show you my data set. Here there are the data set consists of different columns. There are 23 columns and 5,55,000 rows. So we have transaction date, credit card number, merchant, category, amount, first name, last name, gender, street, city, state, zip, and all the other data that is going to be useful. And last is a freeze fraud, which is dependent, like if 0 it is valid, if 1 it is not valid, means it is a fraud. Let me show you the code. So first we have imported the libraries NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and Seaborn, and I have imported the dataset, that is fraudtest.csv. Next I have seen the first 5 rows of my dataset, and I have so 5 rows are and we have 23 columns in our dataset. Let me see how many fraud by this I have seen how many fraud and not fraud values are there. 0 is considered as not fraud, so we have 5,53,574 valid transactions, and one says as it is not valid, so we have 2,145 fraudulent transactions in our data set. So I have checked what columns are there and the types of our columns. I have dropped duplicates and I have described. I have done label encoding, which so that the float and those values can be converted into int. So here we can see the d types have been converted into integer. Now I have plotted a graph. Here we can see as there are more non-fraudulent, the graph is imbalanced, and here we can see how many non-fraudulent and fraudulent are there, and we are going to convert this imbalanced dataset by balancing it using random oversampler. Random oversampler, basically what it does is it if we are going random oversampler, it takes the minority values, add duplicates to it, and equals it to the majority value. So there will not be any imbalanced data. So this was the contribution I have done to my project. Thank you.